Good afternoon, guys, and thank you for joining me on today's evening update. What I want to talk about today is the diversions between the US and Europe. By Europe, I mean UK-led Europe. Guys, if you've not done so already, please like, follow, subscribe, and share this video out. It really helps us when you do that. So what I want to talk about is this diversions, guys, okay? Those of you who've been following this channel and our other channel, I've been saying this for such a long time now that this diversions has come in. And I think on, I've not got it up, but I think on our last live stream, you can catch that. I spoke about this in depth, this diversions. You have the US now, when Trump gets elected, which, let's face it, guys, you know, it's not an if anymore, it's pretty much a when. It's looking like Trump's going to pull out any funding from Ukraine, which is going to leave Europe to take up the slack, which is quite rightly so as well. So what I want to do is, guys, I want to share a couple of articles with you. One of them, the first, is from the Kiev Post, which basically highlights that the Norwegians are transferring 22 F-16s into Ukraine. This is going to give them a huge strike capability into mainland Russia, something like they've never had before. So the Ukrainians now have the capacity to strike mainland Russia. Mainland Russia are then going to, you know, continue this bombardment, and this war is going nowhere. The Europeans are now pushing because they want, as I understand it, from what the data I'm seeing, is that the Russians really want to either destroy or incapacitate Russia so it's no longer a threat to anyone. Well, what does that mean? You know, it's anyone's guess at this point, but things are just going to go from bad to worse in Ukraine as soon as these fighter jets get deployed, as soon as F-16s are all flying over mainland Russia, dropping bombs on oil refineries, on weapon facilities. It's just going to give a whole new dimension to this conflict, and things are just going to escalate and ratchet up another notch. The next article I want to talk about, guys, is Ukraine's attacks on Russian oil refineries deepen tensions with the US. So this was on the 15th of April. So remember what I said, guys, about this diversion. So you can look back through my videos. You know, I've been saying this for months and months and months before anyone was even talking about it, before anyone said this. I said this would happen in February, and it did. You started to see the breadcrumbs of this in February. So what the Washington Post are saying now is the Biden administration views the attacks as reckless and likely to raise energy prices. Kiev sees them as essential to raising the cost of Russian aggression. So basically what you've got there is, you know, the Ukrainians are in a scrap for their life. So nobody can, you know, if you've ever been in a fight with someone, you can't like, you know, you've got to win that fight regardless of cost, if you're in that fight, and to lose that fight means your own life. So nobody can be critical of the Ukrainians for wanting to go too far or too deep. They're in a war, you know. Us in the UK, we've had our own wars, and we've had to go deep and do things that, you know, were unsavoury, and the Ukrainians are having to do that themselves. Wars is a dirty business, guys, alright? They're not nice, they're not clean, they're not, what's the word I'm looking for? They're not heroic, and they're certainly not Hollywood-tastic. But that's what the Ukrainians are doing at the moment. You know, they're bolstering their defences. They're looking at their offensive capability. So the Biden administration are being critical now of the Ukrainians striking Russian oil facilities. Remember my video from earlier on today, guys? I was talking about the oil facilities and oil, energy, all this sort of stuff, guys, okay? It's always about the money. When the price of oil goes up, the price of everything goes up. You know, I was trying to explain this to someone in, a garage early on today. You know, and they were saying that they're not bothered if the price of oil goes up because they've got an electric car. I was like, well, where do you get your goods from? Do your goods from your electric car come, you know, do they get shipped in by a big truck? If it's a diesel truck. The stuff in your supermarket, does that get shipped in by trucks? You know, these big freight, these big ships, these big cargo ships, they run on diesel. Everything runs on diesel, guys, all right? And diesel comes from oil. And once that stops, the price of everything goes up because the price of shipping goes up and the price of energy goes up. And, this is just showing how at the moment, I don't know how the prices are kept as stable as they are, but they are, they are sure to fall, and all the prices are about to go absolutely crazy. And the final thing I want to mention, guys, is this ongoing conflict in Israel. So this is 4 hours ago now. So Benjamin Netanyahu, he's come out and he said, we will make our own decisions about the response to Tehran's strikes. So he's basically said, he had a lot of foreign ministers go around and he's thanked them all, and he said, he's thanked the UK and Germany for sending their ambassadors around there, but he said ultimately Israel will make decisions about Israel's security. If you know anything about the dynamics between Israel and Iran, you will understand what this means. The fact that they're going to make their own decisions mean they're going to reply with force. Once this happens, guys, I've said this like 3 or 4 videos ago, maybe more. I said, okay, what we need to understand is, as soon as Israel attacked the embassies in Syria, Iran had to respond. They had to respond, and they will respond because they've always responded, guys. Throughout history, if somebody attacks Iran, Iran will attack them back. Knowing that, I knew that there'd be there'd be an attack coming back into Israel. I actually said the exact day that it would happen, and guess what? It happened on that day. Now that's not me being prophetic or throwing a line in the sand. That's me looking at all the all the information and saying, right, Ramadan's on. They're not going to do an attack with Ramadan. These attacks usually go on a Friday. What's the next Friday after Ramadan? How many days does that give them to prepare? Yeah, that's when it's going to go in, and it did go in, guys. All right, and that's the reality. So knowing all this, you know that there's going to be a response from Israel now. And I always said from day one, I said, Iran's strike doesn't really matter what happens with Iran's strike. It's Israel's response to that that's going to matter. Because now it's going to be, yeah, but you did this, you did that, and then it doesn't matter now. It's not just one strike for one strike. And this is going to ratchet things up, and the tensions are going to be ridiculous. Don't forget, guys, okay, I've said this before, 20 to 25% of the world's oil runs past Iran. They can close that down. The oil refineries that are being targeted in Russia, the price of everything is about to go up, guys. Absolutely ridiculous. And also, guys, I just remembered, I got a comment on one of our earlier on videos. Hang on, let me just get it for you. Where are we? Right, okay, so the comment was, why did the UK and the US protect Israel when they didn't protect Ukraine? Well, I did a short video earlier on our other platform about this, but I thought I'd elaborate here. The reason that the UK, the US and allies protected Israel initially, and they didn't protect Ukraine, that is initially comes down to capacity and logistics. The UK, the US didn't really have anything to protect Ukraine from when Ukraine got attacked by Russia. Don't forget, Israel is really close to Cyprus, and the UK have a massive airbase there, RAF Akateria. The US has got strike carrier groups in the Mediterranean, so it's really easy for the US and the UK and the allies to send fast jets to go and intercept these missiles. The secondary alternative equal or option reason for this as well was that they're trying to calm this situation down. Now, if Israel, had been hit by these missiles and there had been, catastrophic damage, then right now the world would be in flames because Israel would have just unleashed hell. And that's basically why they protected Israel and they didn't protect Ukraine. Not because they didn't want to. I think from what you can see now, of course they want to. I think logistics and capacity play a big role. If you've not got anything in that region, you can't use anything. Let's not forget also that there's exercise Steadfast Defender that's happening in Poland. And as I said, all the logistics, all the tanks, all the machinery, that's all going to stay down there. And all the troops will come back on civilian flights, on charter flights, whatever. And that will be for the next phase of this, so for the next phase of it, then the coalition, NATO, their allies, they'll already have the logistics, already have that in place in Poland so that they can move forwards at pace. Guys, if you stayed till the end, thank you so much, and give us a like and a share. We're on 2 platforms now. I'm going to try and get 2 videos to you guys every day, and I'm going for a run. Thank you.